So today we're going to be working on my own car, which is my S14. For those of you guys that have been following along with the channel, you would have seen the full SR rebuild I did on the car, along with the few other things like rebuilding my Minervas. But yeah, there's a lot of things we could pick between doing today. I have a terrible VCT rattle. The car overheats because I got cheap ass electric fans. I have a sound system I want to put in the car. I have a backup camera I want to put in the car. I have an angle kit I want to put on the car. I have Z32 full rear brake setup with handbrake cables and all that type of stuff I want to put in the car, but I don't know. Champa, what do you think we should do today?
I don't know, with the... I guess
you look like a ghost. Hang on.
For some reason you said the car doesn't want to time correctly, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you fucking finessed that thing off Joe, so I mean, I don't know what the hell you're gonna do with it, but I'm assuming something with timing or...
Yeah, okay. Look, we gotta get a little bit more background for that. For those of you guys that have been following along, in the car I have a Yashio factory V1 gauge, and this gauge does a lot more stuff than display water temp. It also displays like your TPS, your timing, and a bunch of other stuff, your RPM. I tried using it in the timing mode to verify what I was getting on a timing light was matching what the gauge was reading, which is what the ECU was reading, and it was way off. The gauge was reading like 25 degrees of timing when it should be at like 15. And then on the timing light, I would make it match, the car would rev up super high. So I was like, maybe the Yashio factory V1 gauge I have isn't accurate. So what I did was, like Champa said, I finessed Joe and I took his V3 Yashio factory gauge, which does the same thing. And we're gonna make sure that this one's timing, what it says on the ECU, matches what I'm getting on a timing light. So yeah, maybe we'll do that today. We'll set the timing.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, and then after...
I want to do the sub, but...
You want to do the sub?
Yeah,
I haven't showed that yet.
I just want to hear it.
We'll show it in a little bit. But yeah, and then once we set the timing, I did get 2 brand new Spal Extreme fans because I have a problem where the car gets hot and overheats, and I think it's because the Phoenix fans I have right now, they don't have enough CFM, so I picked up these Spals. We'll get more into detail like the CFMs and everything in a bit. And then in another video, I guess what we're gonna do is I have a brand new VCT gear, VCT solenoid, and valve cover gasket, timing chain gasket, because he had to take all that apart to do the VCT gear. Because although I did fully rebuild the SR, I cheaped out in some areas, and including it still being on a stock ECU, I did reuse a lot of the sensors and the VCT solenoid. And the car has a terrible VCT rattle, so we need to take apart all the timing stuff to fix the VCT rattle. But yeah, we'll do that in another video. I also have this is for my other car, but I do have a custom sub box in the car right now that is a copy of this with the JL12, so I want to wire the JL12 into the car. And then I also do have a 2 amp system for that. This will be for the sub, this will be for the door speakers, and then all the wiring and stuff is down here. I also have a full front suspension setup I want to do on the car with new tie rods, sway bar end links, more importantly extended lower control arms. In my shelf over there I have PBM knuckles, so the car will finally have angle. And then I also do have, what was the other thing? There was angle, sub, fans, VCT. I don't remember.
The rear brakes.
Oh, and then I have a full Z32. I'll just show it real quick. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff we could do today, but obviously we're gonna pick one, and then the rest you guys will see in the upcoming weeks. But I do have a full Z32 rear brake setup. There's the brakes, there's the knuckles, they're used. There's the drum assemblies. But yeah, there's a lot of things we could pick between, and I think just for simplicity and because I want to start dailying the car a little bit more, I'm gonna start with doing the Spal fans because it's hot as hell outside, and set the timing so I'm not scared to drive the car. And then one other thing I forgot about is for some reason on the OEM cluster the temperature gauge stopped working. I had a spare cluster, I swapped it in, the temperature gauge still didn't work. Then I tried just swapping the temperature unit into my good cluster. It still doesn't work. So what I ended up doing was I bought a brand new temperature sensor. So we're gonna put that in along with the new coolant temp sensor, because why not just do both? So yeah, hopefully the car will run a little bit better because the new coolant temp sensor, and then I'll have a finally working temperature gauge in the cluster, which is right there. But yeah, ready? Oh, and also one more thing. Sorry about this yapathon. Let's put the new TPS in, because the other day I was trying to set the TPS on the car also using the gauge, and the Yashio gauge was saying that I was getting 0.6 volts with the gauge. I mean with the throttle fully closed, and I should be at 0.45. I don't know if the Yashio gauge is not accurate or what, but basically I was maxed out on the TPS. I couldn't take away any more to the side to make it go lower. So I just bought a new TPS sensor, OEM Hitachi one, and then we'll also check it with a voltmeter because maybe the Yashio gauge isn't right. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff we could do, but today we're gonna keep it simple and just do the Spal fans and the cooling system. Ready? Let's get to work. So I accidentally started the car for like a few seconds before I recorded this clip because I forgot I wanted to show you guys the VCT rattle. So keep that in mind. It's not gonna sound as crazy as it normally does, but this is what it sounds like right now. Oh, it's gone. It didn't even rattle. So we got the car all jacked up, and now we're gonna start draining all the coolant so we don't have to deal with coolant spilling everywhere when I take the coolant temp sensors out of the head or manifold. The reason I'm draining the coolant is because I did replace sensors before without draining the coolant, and it makes a giant mess where it's like the coolant is spilling nonstop. So I learned just drain the coolant if you're ever replacing those sensors. But yeah, I have a Koyo rad, so it's pretty easy. You just need a 14 mil wrench, turn the peacock, it'll drain. And then we'll get right over here, and you'll see there's two plugs right here. It might be kind of hard to get this on camera, but the red one is for the ECU coolant temp. The one next to it's supposed to have a rubber boot, but I don't have it. This is for the cluster. I'm pretty sure it went bad, so we have a new one of both. And yeah, after that we're gonna take the fan shroud out here, which is a Phoenix fan shroud. You guys can see how thin these fans are. So we're gonna show the size comparison and the CFM comparison between these and the Spals, but it's pretty dramatic. These fans, I don't understand how they sell it to consumers, because if you look at the CFM of them, it's trash. But yeah, we'll get back to you once the coolant's all drained. Fuck.
That wasn't that bad.
Oh, I didn't take the rad cap off. Hold up. It's about to start. It's about to start fucking shooting. Ready? Keep the camera down there. Watch this. Like, show down there. You ready?
That's not that bad.
Oh. And I use blue coolant because that's what Nissan recommends. So we got the coolant fully drained, and now Champa, you ready to do the honors of taking the sensors out?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, for the for the cluster, which is on the left right there, if I could get it in focus, that one is a 12 mil. You need to use a deep socket, and then the one on the right next to it, that's for the ECU, and you need a 19 millimeter deep socket. But the reason I'm changing both of them instead of just the one is because why not? We're already here, so I figured why not just roll both of them out. I know the one for the ECU works enough because the car runs okay, but because we're replacing the one for the cluster, we might as well just do both. But ready, Champa? And even with draining all the coolant, we are making a mess. Fuck. Let me see my floor. We're chalked. Champa, I just mopped the floors.
I know. It's clean.
At least they're getting remopped, I guess. So I did put a bunch of microfibers on the alternator and stuff just so it's not drowned in coolant. But as you guys can see, you are going to have a bunch of coolant come out if you do replace these sensors, and the reason for that is because it is behind the thermostat. So even though we drained all the coolant, the thermostat was still closed. There's still a bunch behind it. But yeah, we're just going to throw the new sensors in, and then hopefully my cluster starter was working. So I did go on ahead and put some Permatex thread sealant on these. On the one for the ECU, it does come with a copper washer, but I like to still put some thread sealant. And then the one for the cluster, it doesn't have any type of like washer or like anything because it's an MPT thread. But again, I like to just put some thread sealant, a very light coat, just because it's like a little bit extra. And if anyone needs the part numbers, that is the one for the cluster, and that is the one for the ECU. But for the ECU one, if you have a S15 motor or a Koki S14 motor, it uses a different coolant temp sensor that's an oval instead of a rectangle. The S14 Zenki motors use a S13 style sensor, so if you're buying a coolant temp sensor, make sure you get the one that matches your motor. I learned that the hard way when I bought one a long time ago. But yeah, we're just gonna go on ahead now and throw it in the car. We did take these sensors out and then put them back in just because they were constantly flowing. So we're just gonna do a quick little switcheroo. So Champa, that will be important for us to walk through how we bleed the cooling system on an S chassis because they are kind of finicky. The first thing you guys want to make sure you have when you're bleeding one of these cars is a spill-free funnel. This one is from Lyle, and I actually have two of them, so here is the part number if anyone needs it. And it comes with all these adapters and stuff. Basically, the way you make it work on a car that has an SR and a Koyo rad is you take one of these washers off of this and you stack it on one of the adapters that end up working, because I actually have to fit two washers to make it fit on this car. But yeah, The second thing is I like using blue coolant because this is actually what Nissan uses. They don't use green, yellow, red, whatever, it's blue. So yeah, we got blue coolant in here. And the third most important thing is you want to make sure you have the front end pretty high off the ground. Right now the car is at a slope on my driveway and it's on jack stands because these cars are a pain to bleed, huh, Chumbo?
Yeah, the reader cap, or like where it air escape, should be the highest point of
Especially
the cooling
on
system.
a Nissan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a problem a long time ago when I was trying to bleed the cooling system on this car when I first SR swapped it, and I did have the front end somewhat high off the ground, but not this much, and it would not bleed no matter what I did. It would just keep overheating. So yeah, what I ended up doing was jacking the front end up into the moon, and it ended up bleeding. I don't know why it's so finicky, but it is. But yeah, we're just gonna turn the car on, bleed the cooling system, and then move on to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Should I start it to see if it makes the VCT rattle? It's not gonna be a cold start.
It might though. I don't know. It might
Yeah,
be.
let's just see what happens. Maybe I'll do it. Dun dun dun. Where'd I put the key? Let's see if you guys are gonna hear a VCT rattle or not. A little bit. But yeah, we're just gonna bleed the cooling system. Someone just had a panic attack and told me to cut the clip and turn the car off. What happened?
The fucking towels are gonna get caught in the
belt?
belts. Yeah.
That's so chalk. Did it actually get
No,
caught?
no, it didn't get caught, but like,
Really, they were
luckily,
close?
one of them fell, luckily, but yeah, one of them got close to getting caught. I mean, it wouldn't have been anything, but like,
Maybe the belt would have popped off?
yeah, I think you never know.
Yeah, my dumb ass forgot I had those fucking towels there. So we're just gonna take the towels out, turn the car on, bleed the cooling system, and then we'll move on to the fans. So we finished bleeding the cooling system, and what happened, Jumbo?
Well, I mean, someone broke something.
Yeah, I might have broke something. So the coolant temp gauge on the cluster still doesn't work, but at least we figured out why, because afterwards I went down here and I was like, well, the sensor is brand new, we swapped the cluster and it still doesn't work. So that means it's probably the harness or the ECU, right?
Yeah.
So I went to go look at the harness, I barely put any pressure on it, and what happened, Chamba?
It broke.
Yeah, the wiring specialties harness is snapped. I'm not sure why. I think it's because they just use too thin of a gauge of wire, and plus the wire's super short, so it was always under constant tension right there. You guys can see the blue wire on the right of the sensor. But yeah, so we're not sure what we're gonna do right now. We did find a spade connector in my Harbor Freight like kit right here. That was a perfect fit. It's right here. This fits on the coolant temp sensor perfectly, and it's actually way more snug than the wiring specialties one, so that's a bonus, because this one was always a little loose and it would like make me concerned, because I was like, is it getting a good reading if it's wiggling? But yeah. The other thing is the wire is too short, so we're not sure if we're going to be able to just crimp that on, or if we're going to extend the wire. If we have to extend the wire, that's going to be a pain, because like we could barely fit anything in there. And then the other thing is, since we bled the cooling system, I like had a random thought where I was like, wait, I forgot if I had bought a new one of these or not, but this one is cracked. And then I remembered by looking at my like parts corner right there, I did buy a OEM replica of the coolant overflow from GK Tech. The only reason I bought the GK Tech one instead of an OEM one is because, more so out of curiosity, I wanted to see if it was actually like it would fit like an OEM one, or if it's kind of garbage. So yeah, this was only like 60 bucks. I thought it was worth just figuring it out, because the other thing is an OEM one will only fit in here because the way my custom tubs are, an aftermarket one will not fit. All right, so we got a new connector on the sensor for the cluster. We did put some heat shrink and stuff on it and tuck the wire so it does look kind of OEM and not super janky. But yeah, that was a pain. Hopefully that fixes it. We won't know until we turn the car on, but before turning the car on, I wanted to put the new coolant overflow in. And that's when we realized we have a problem. When I mock the coolant overflow in, which is kind of hard to do because of the custom wheel wells that I had done by Alan, you guys could see that the two mounting holes here on the top, I'm not sure if it comes up on camera, but they don't line up. So I went over to my old overflow and I realized that this hole was kind of ovalized to go this way a little bit. But yeah, I'm not sure if the holes don't line up because of my custom wheel wells and moving the coolant overflow a little bit more towards the front of the car, or if the mounting holes are just off between the GK Tech bottle and the OEM bottle. But other than that, it does fit pretty good. I'm just gonna ovalize the hole and it should fit. But yeah, we'll get back to you once we turn the car on and the coolant gauge works, right, Champa?
Hopefully.
Nah, it's gonna work.
Yeah, it should.
Let's go, baby. And then the coolant overflow did end up fitting pretty good. I'm not sure if you guys could hear me, but ready for the fans? Chamba, what we realized?
We fucked up.
Yeah, we fucked up. So we're trying to take the fan shroud out real quick because we're going to be changing the Phoenix fans that came with the Phoenix fan and shrouds for Spal fans. And we realized that the upper radiator hose is in the way, in addition to the power steering line right here. So yeah, in hindsight, it would have been a lot better to take the fan shroud out when you had the coolant drain, because we could have just took the radiator hose out. But thankfully, we don't need to cut up the fan shroud to put the Spal fans in, because Phoenix already uses a 12-inch fan, unlike Mishimoto or something, which is 11, which is why you'll see people use a jigsaw to cut bigger holes with those fan shrouds. But yeah, the holes already lined up because I did mock this up the other day. So we're just gonna take the fans out in the car and it should go pretty smoothly. But yeah, in hindsight, we definitely should have just took the radiator hose out and done it when we had everything drained, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, and the other reason that we decided to, the only reason I even have a Phoenix fan shroud is because it's black, and thankfully that thought process worked out, because now I don't need to cut up the fan shroud. It works for the Spal fans. But yeah, let's start switching. What happened now, Champa?
Well, something goes wrong, so.
Yeah, this is literally 10 seconds after the last clip.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was we used the electric ratchet to try to take the bolts out for the fans that go to the shroud, thinking that the shroud was rib nutted, and what happened, Champa?
It's not.
Yeah, they nut and bolted it, so we basically just took the top 2 bolts back out, and we're trying to snake our hands in between to get the nuts out. Yeah. But thankfully the radiator's not stupid hot, it's just very stupid hot. So I don't know, we'll get back to you guys when it's out.
It takes a little bit longer, that's it.
The fans are out, and Champa, what's the verdict?
I don't think they line up.
Yeah, so we went ahead and lined up one of the Spal Extremes on the bottom with the Phoenix on the top, thinking that the holes might line up. When I dry mocked it, it did look like it lined up. And yeah, they don't line up. So what we realized is, after struggling, burning our hands, fitting our hands between the radiator and the shroud, we're gonna have to take the upper radiator hose off and take the shroud out and drill new holes in the shroud.
Something like that, yeah.
I just put brand new coolant in this thing.
At least it's fresh.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least on the bright side, let's talk about the benefits of these Spal fans versus the Phoenix fans. So these are Spal Extreme. These are a Phoenix basic fan you get with the SR kit they have. And the reason I'm upgrading is because my car gets hot. These fans produce a combined output between the 2 fans of 1370 or 40 CFM, I believe. And one of these Spal Extremes puts out 1870 CFM. So combined, it's like 34 something. I don't know, like almost 3500 CFM between the 2. That's a dramatic increase over 1300, huh? Yeah. So now we're gonna struggle, take the upper radiator hose off, and hopefully we just need to drill new holes to mount the Spal fans. I'm really hoping we don't need to cut a bigger hole for the fans. That would suck because I don't have a jigsaw and I'll have to go buy one. But yeah. In other news, where's the measuring tape? I wanted to show the size difference between the 2. So currently, if you could help me with this real quick, the Phoenix fans, they are about, what is that? Like
1 and
I think 2.5 inches.
Yeah, something like that.
And then the Spal fans are like 4.5 inches. That comes out on camera. So yeah, there's a pretty dramatic size difference between the 2. The main reason most of you guys would even consider electric fans is to see more of the engine bay like I did. But with the shape of the Spal electric fans, unlike a clutch fan, most of the like size is towards the bottom. Versus a clutch fan, the shroud is like all on the top. So I should still be able to see a lot of the engine bay, I'm hoping. I think it'll just make the fans like thicker right here, but you'll still see like all of that. But yeah, let's get the shroud off.
Yeah.
Chamba, did our nightmare come true?
Low-key.
So we mocked the Spal fans up with the Phoenix shroud, and exactly what we feared happened. none of the holes actually line up. So what we decided to do was just fit the fans as close together as they can go. And there is a little bit of an overhang on the sides, which you guys won't be able to see, but you can definitely feel a little bit, but it's fine. And yeah, we basically just made it so it's straight with these lines and this line. And then after that, we went in with the caliper and just went, what was it? We went 15 millimeters down on both of these. And then after that, we realized a major problem where the actual opening of the shroud is like probably 15 or 20 mils like bigger than the fan itself. So basically there is like an air restriction. We were debating going to Harbor Freight and getting a jigsaw and making the hole bigger, but honestly, these fans produce so much more CFM than the old fans. And the old fans were also restricted. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see it, but there is like an outline right here of probably like a 10 mil like flange that Phoenix had on the shroud before. So what we're gonna do is right now we're just gonna drill holes, mount them, and hope that the CFM overpowering the hole will be good enough to cool the car down. In the future, whenever I do redo some stuff with the turbo and everything, I am gonna take these back out and actually cut the holes bigger, but for now, just bolt it up. The only difference is we're gonna riv nut the shroud because I hate the fact they nut and bolted it. In case I need to change a fan, it'll be a lot easier to just take a bowl out. But yeah, we're just gonna cut some holes, we're gonna drill some holes, cut something, and we'll be back. I don't know. I'm burnt.
Okay.
So me and Shamba have been spiraling, trying to figure out how we're gonna mount these fans to the shroud. The reason being is because if we want to riv nut the shroud like we were planning, we need to put some type of insulation between the fan and the shroud, otherwise the riv nuts are like a little elevated and it won't seal. So we tried experimenting on this one with a little bit of foam I had, and it added about half an inch. But then the thing is, it made this fan stupid thick, like really high off. So it'll be like really close to the engine, and it'll kind of defeat the entire purpose of electric fans where you want to see more of the engine bay. So we chalked that one. Then on this one, we tried putting some edge guard right here on the inside, which only added about, I don't know, what is that, like quarter inch?
I don't know, barely anything.
Yeah, added like a quarter inch, and it'll be enough to put a riv nut. But the thing is, it does still elevate this off a little bit. So we're debating using this one because we'll be able to riv nut it. But then again, it defeats the point of the electric fans where we're trying to get as much of the engine bay like showing as possible. So we might just nut and bolt it.
I don't know, it's up to you.
What do you want to do? Riv nut or nut and bolt?
I don't know. Riv nut would be easier, but then it would like, I don't know.
I mean, we're right here.
Yeah.
We already drilled the holes to the size of the riv nut too, and deburred them. But we're gonna riv nut them.
This guy.
Commit. Me and Chamba finished the fan shroud. As you guys can see, it's all bolted, and then we also did swap over the Deutsch connectors from the old setup because this is from the Chase Base fan wiring kit. If you guys watched me put this car together, you guys would have seen when I originally put the Phoenix fan and shroud in with the Chase Base wiring. But yeah, I just had to cut that off the old Phoenix fans and crimp it onto the new ones. But we could go on ahead and toss it in. And by the way, I didn't put a seal right here like I was thinking, so there is like a little bit of a space. But honestly, I think it'll be fine. We got bigger problems in this car. Damn, this is so heavy now.
Yeah.
Low-key, here, I know you're holding the camera, but let's trade. I need you to feel this.
Yeah, it's so fucking, it is, yeah.
How's that feel?
No, they are fucking, they are heavy as shit.
Damn, I didn't realize the fucking weight difference between those.
No, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess I just added a bunch of weight to the car. No weight reduction here.
No, I mean, shit. It'll keep the front end more planted, maybe, huh?
Yeah. Now I just need to, let's throw it in the car. You want me to do it?
No, I think
you got it? It's up.
No, it's up.
Yeah, hold it on this side. Oh, is it hitting the power steering line?
No, I think it's in the fucking intercooler piping.
Swear.
I swear.
Alright, we're gonna need 2 sets of hands for this. We'll be back once it's in the car.
Well, okay, so everything's back on the car now. We gotta go through the whole process of bleeding the air system again, or not the cooling system, my bad, and getting all the air pockets out. I mean, the car hasn't moved from the position it was in, so luckily it should be easy. It's only gonna take like an extra like 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
I,
I'm just surprised that we were able to get the fan in, because the thing that we were facing a challenge with is this line right here for the power steering is literally butted up against that. We had to take the intercooler pipe on that side out just to get it in. It was a bitch, but it's in.
yeah, it was like an extra 5 minutes, but little things.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes as planned.
Yeah, the thing I realize right now is it's not going to be a full cold start, but maybe the VCT will rattle so they can hear that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since the car turned on, so maybe.
Yeah, let's see right now. And then they could see that there's a working temp gauge and everything. What do you think?
I mean, you heard it or no?
Yeah, I want to keep it recording so we can hear how loud the fans are, so we'll just cut to when the fans kick on now. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to hear me. It's been like 15 minutes and the fans still haven't kicked on. So the problem we're having now is, unlike earlier, it's too cold. So yeah, we're just going to cut to whenever the fans finally kick on, because we're not sure when it's going to happen. This clip has been like 15 minutes long. 85, the fans. They're loud, huh? Oh, you could feel them, huh? Damn, that's crazy. Damn. Oh, it just kicked off. They cooled down quick, huh?
Yeah.
So what shit show happened this time, Champa?
So I guess the Spal fans, when they first kick on, draw about like 50 amps. Unfortunately, the kit with the
Chase base wiring kit.
only came with 30s.
Yeah, and they blew. Like, can we show this on camera?
I don't know.
Let me try to get in focus. Kinda.
Well, this one looks fine. It's this one that's like crazy.
Yeah,
but...
they completely blew up. It wasn't just like they
Yeah.
snapped. They like burned up like crazy.
Yeah.
And it did it on startup when the fan's supposed to kick on. So I do think it's just a 50 amp initial draw. I'm gonna order some bigger fuses, which is kind of hard in that size, but
Yeah.
should fix it.
Yeah, it should fix it. Hopefully. Yeah.
But yeah, now we're gonna move on to the TPS sensor before we call it a night, because it's pitch black outside. And for that, I got an OEM one for anyone that needs a part number. There you go. You don't need to buy it from Nissan. You'll save a lot of money just getting it from Hitachi.
Oh,
and
yeah, either way.
to undo it, it's just 2 little screws, and then we'll pull out the voltmeter and we'll show you guys how to set it. So the new TPS is now installed and set. So I have the old TPS here in my hand, and one thing I noticed is that when I rotate this like spring, it's really crunchy, so maybe it was like worn out. Before we put the new one in, we did verify that the numbers on it were the same between the two, and they were. But yeah, to set the voltage for anyone that needs help with this, you just need to shove a piece of wire in the middle wire of the TPS connector, put a voltmeter to it, ground it out wherever you want on your chassis. I just put it in the springs of the hood latch. And at the closed position, you want to be at 0.45 volts. The way you adjust this is you basically rotate the TPS sensor clockwise to make the number go down, counterclockwise to make it increase. And you want to be right at 0.45 volts for a notch top SR. I believe a non-notch top SR is 0.5 volts. But yeah, the other thing you want to verify is at full throttle, you should be at 4 volts or higher. And we are right at 4 volts. So we're good to go. Now, Chamba, do you want to do the timing? I know it's pitch black outside and it's late. Or do you want to wait for another day?
I don't care.
Fuck it. Let's set up the timing light and set the timing while we're here. Now that we know the TPS is correct. The other thing I want to do that I forgot about is the reason I wanted to change the TPS sensor is on the Yashio gauge. There was a menu that says TPS voltage, and I couldn't get the TPS sensor to go under 0.6 volts on there. So I want to see what the Yashio gauge is reading to see if it matches what we're getting on the voltmeter. Because maybe the Yashio gauge just isn't reading right.
I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, it is like fucking old too, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Yashio gauge is reading what the ECU is reading.
Oh yeah.
So maybe the ECU is just reading wrong.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I have a feeling the ECU is just not the best. I have a link sitting for this car right there. If we figure out after doing the VCT gear in another video that the CAS is bad, we're throwing a 5.0 trigger kit on it, putting the link on it, putting a G25 on it, making
and blowing it up.
and we're blowing it up. All right, let's get the timing light on this thing. So to check different menus on the Yashio Factory V1 gauge, there's this like chart that I found that basically says number 10 is rotation, 11 ignition, 12 airflow, 13 airflow 2 if you have 2 MAFs. This car doesn't have that. 14 ignition timing. Look at that, it's my bedtime. 16 or 15 ignition timing, 16 vehicle speed, 17 water temperature, which is what it's displaying right now. 18 idle SW, 19 TP, 20 valve opening rate. So we're trying to get to mode 14, and the way you do that is, I can't remember if it's the top 2 buttons or the bottom 2 buttons, but you press them at the same time and you bump the starter. Oh yeah, it was the bottom 2 buttons. And you'll see a little spinning dial. Then we're just gonna click down to mode 14. Click mode. It says 0.4. That's right? 0.45 volts.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one's only accurate to the first decimal point?
Yeah, and there's not 2 decimal points. But the thing is, before when I did this, it would not go under 0.6 volts. So maybe my TPS was bad before, and this is reading that right now.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. I feel a lot better about spending way too money on that stupid sensor. All right, timing light. Wait. One more thing. I forgot. Since we're setting the timing, we should probably put the gauge in timing mode, huh?
Yeah.
Which is ignition timing, mode 15, right?
Oh, you can't see on the fucking phone. It's way too bright.
I hate that you have to bump the starter to do this. So go to 15. What the fuck? It skipped it. Hello? Oh, dude, this gauge is playing games with me. There we go. 5 degrees. Now let's see if that's what we're getting with the timing light. What happened, Champa?
So, like, the reading on the actual crank and the Yashio Factory gauge or whatever, it's pretty close. It's off by like about, give or take, like 3 or 5 degrees. But I mean, it's a lot closer than it was before. But I don't know. It seems like the VTC solenoid geared something going on with the fucking.
It's just fucking everything up.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we should be getting 15 degrees of timing at idle. We're getting like 33 degrees of timing at idle, and we noticed that when we did a bunch of stuff like disconnect the TPS sensor, mess with like the throttle and everything, we got it to the point that it was idling between 10 to 15 degrees finally, and on the motor it was at like 8 degrees of timing, which is the closest we ever got it. But the thing we noticed is the idle was fluctuating, and every time it would fluctuate, what was happening, Champa?
What do you mean?
What noise?
The VTC rattle.
The
Fucking
VCT was rattling like crazy. So it looks like we're going to be doing the VCT gear a lot sooner than later. But yeah, we tried our best to make this car run good. In hindsight, I really should have just replaced the VCT solenoid and gear when I rebuilt the motor. But yeah.
Is it VTC or VCT?
VCT.
VCT, right? Fuck, I keep on saying VTC, I think.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have a brand new VCT solenoid, or VCT gear and VCT solenoid right here. So we'll do that in an upcoming video. But that is all for now. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry if anyone feels unsatisfied with this video because of the lack of progress. But in good news, we have Spal fans. I have a working temp gauge. The timing is a lot closer. The TPS reads correctly now. I guess we did do a lot of good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.